Welcome to the Socially Unfiltered podcast,
where we'll be taking you along for our deep dives and doom scrolls through social media, entrepreneurship, and pop culture.
We're your hosts, Lex and Veronica, and together we're looking at everything through an unfiltered lens on the things that shape our everyday lives and society.
So grab a drink and get ready to explore the uncharted territories of online trends, share candid conversations, and uncover the stories behind the headlines.
This is the Socially Unfiltered podcast.
Spicy. She's in
we're getting spicy again.
In her luteal phase. Things are getting bad.
We're having a rough time out here.
Oh my god.
Wait, actually we even said in the last episode this would be the Dallas Cowboy episode, so we need to say that this is not the Dallas Cowboy cheerleader episode. We're replacing it with a spicy take on social media management today because we have decided to push that episode off for another week in hopes that it will be even better than we originally planned. So
exactly.
And that's all we can say about it. So we'll talk about spicy takes on social media management today. I think this is part 4.
Yeah,
I don't know if we confirmed that.
It is. I think it is our 4th, 3rd or 4th.
I think it's the 4th, maybe the 3rd.
Y'all seem to eat these up.
Yeah, I mean, we're never going to stop having things to be upset about, I guess. Well, actually, today I feel like we did just talk about it's a little bit different. We've been doing more like spicy takes on social media management, like as far as things that we do that other people might not do or things that, you know, clients might do that we don't agree with. But today I feel like is a little bit more about just like some shady tactics that we see other social media managers doing and just kind of the way that they're presenting our industry.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a way to summarize all of these bullet points. But before we get into anything, we have new merch that came out since our last episode. We just ordered some and it'll be here soon. Yes. But we have 1 new sweatshirt, 3 new hats, and 2 mugs.
And they're so
cute. Yeah. We'll link all of it below and we'll obviously show it when we get it.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
I think that's going to be here like
soon.
Yeah, I think it's literally going to be delivered like 3 days before I leave. So,
oh my god, mine said it already shipped. Well, it broke it up in 3 different orders, and
so did mine. I think
shipped already. I'm like, I don't know how, but that was crazy fast. Yeah. So I feel like it says it's going to take longer, but then they ship within like 2 days. It's crazy.
I know. I'm trying to think what happened last time, like how long it took, because I remember it getting here. Like it was delivered like right before you left, I think.
Yes.
Wasn't it?
Yep.
Or right after? I don't remember. Anyway, no, it definitely does not take as long as the shipping thing says that it takes.
Which is nice. But a little surprise.
Yeah, a fun little treat to yourself coming in the mail.
Yes. So check out our new merch. We're so excited about it. Can't wait to twin with all of y'all and send us pics.
And we'll have it all linked below.
All right, let's get
Okay, ready to get spicy?
Yeah. Always.
I feel like we should like take a shot of tequila before this or something.
Oh god.
Just kidding. We'll be talking spicy takes on other things, not this. Oh, there it is.
Yay.
Thumbs up, baby. They're like, yes, get riled up. Go.
Ready to go.
Okay, yeah. So where do we start?
You want to start with the first one?
Yeah, just go down the list.
Yeah.
So this came up because of somebody who had reached out to me and I shared it with V and was like, look at how crazy this is. Somebody was working with a client who hired a growth expert, and their growth tactic was for the social media manager to be following 100 new people a day. And when she had reached out to me, she was like, hey, I just want, you/your guys' opinion on this. Like, do you agree with this? And I straight up said no. It was giving me hives reading that. And she said she was getting her inhaler ready because it was also making her very anxious. So fast forward like 2 weeks later, I got an update from her and she basically told the client, I'm not comfortable doing that. And so the growth expert was like, "Okay, well, I'll do it then." So the growth expert went in and did it and got their account banned in like 2 days because Instagram recognizes mass following and mass
Mhm.
commenting as bot activity.
Yeah.
And so not only does Instagram like straight up not like when you do something like that, it's giving like I'm walking outside and just screaming about my business and seeing who like flocks to me.
Mhm.
Like I don't love the idea of just do like going down your timeline and just liking a bunch of shit for the sake of getting your name in somebody's notifications.
Mhm.
So I don't like that. And I'm glad I mean, she's done with the client, so I don't feel bad
Good, yeah.
saying I'm glad that their account got banned for doing something like that. But I'm upset that there are growth experts out there that are suggesting this that don't know that activity like that would get you banned.
Also, are you really a growth expert when that's your strategy, that's your tactic to growing?
Mhm,
And how many of those people are actually that client's target audience and are
mhm,
actually booking or buying from them or interacting with them? Is it just like a follow for follow type of thing? Like I see these all the time. That's like comment on my thing and I'll comment on yours. And there used to be like, it's so funny back in like 2019, I want to say, like, yeah, 2019, 2020. Mark used to be as DJs, they're in these like engagement groups
oh,
on
like the
Instagram.
engagement
So
pods?
then they send their
I love
post into like the engagement group and like
Yeah.
all the other DJs would go and comment like fire
Mhm,
emoji, like whatever. And it's
Mhm.
all emojis. It was always emojis. But then Instagram caught on to that behavior and it's like
mhm.
a bot activity. So I don't think many people do that anymore. Maybe like a couple
No.
still do, but it's so funny to think
Well, do
about.
you not to interrupt you on this, but have you seen that this has, like, been happening on TikTok with the whole, like, teamwork thing?
No.
Like, there's a bunch of people that are now making content and they're like, "I have under 10,000 followers, like, I wanna be able to use the shop, I wanna get, the
Mm.
creator fund, blah, blah, blah." So, people are just making content being like, "Comment teamwork and we'll all follow each other and get each other, like, all
Oh.
to 10K." And
Mhm.
it's like it doesn't work like that. Like, it's the
Yeah.
same thing as buying followers, in my opinion. Like, are they real? Are they gonna engage? Do they give a fuck about what you're posting about? Like, again, it's giving, I just walked outside and screamed to, like, see who would,
Mhm.
like, catch on.
Because even
I
when
don't
you do get those 10,000 followers, say like the TikTok shop, you know how hard it is to actually get accepted to getting like samples of things and to even make money on the creator program anymore. Like you actually do have to go viral now to make money on the creator program. I am
Mhm.
witnessing it firsthand with Benny's account because
Mhm.
it used to be a lot easier and TikTok has pulled back a lot and I like with their funding, like even samples now you can only request like 2 or 3 a month, and
Mhm.
before it was like 6 and then you make videos on it and then you can request more. Now it's like
Mhm.
cut that down, um, and he's making way less with the creator I mean, my dog's making money regardless, doesn't matter. I'm just saying like if you're a
Dog has a
creator
job.
or you have like the creator rewards program, like you see that too. Um, like that has changed a lot. So it doesn't mean
Mhm.
anything. Even if you do get to those 10,000 doesn't mean people are going to be watching your videos regardless if you have the following or not.
Right.
And you're not going to be making money regardless if you're just going to have the number, which at the end of the day,
Mhm.
if that's what
If
will,
that's what you
that's
need,
what
sure.
success is to you and that's what you need to see, then great. But yeah, like it's not
Mhm.
going to do much else for you besides
Mhm.
that number. So I just think it's silly.
And exactly like you said, like, you're seeing the fluctuation of, like, what an account gets
Mhm.
paid in the creator fund, like, I think people just buy in so quickly to the, "Oh my god, I made $84,000 this month with TikTok Shop." Like, they don't understand that, like, that could have been one viral video, and then that person never made another sale again. Like, it's
Yeah.
not consistent, it's not guaranteed, it's clickbait,
Mhm.
basically. Like, it's just people I mean, this even actually ties into another one that we'll talk about, but, like, it yeah, it just doesn't make sense, I don't think, for people to make that their goal to be like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna make money on TikTok and quit my job." Like, I just think there's other ways to do that than, like, relying on TikTok paying you because it
Mhm.
obviously changes and it's
Oh, yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, it could be taken away tomorrow. Like,
Mhm,
everything has changed with the program, and they've changed the program, like, 3 times. The
mhm.
shops are changing, like, your commissions are changing,
Yeah.
everything changes, so it's yeah, to rely on just having that 10K following or, like, even Benny with 150,000 followers, it
Mhm,
still fluctuates a ton, and it's a lot of work, so
mhm.
definitely
Yeah,
rely.
yeah, and that's the thing, it's a lot of work, like, I don't think people realize, like
Mhm,
because again, like, I think people are just buying in, like, "Oh, you can take the B-roll and, like, that's it, like, I just put this I got this thing on
mhm,
TikTok Shop and I made a video of me using it and now I'm rich." Like, it rarely ever actually happens like that, and I'm not saying it doesn't, but, like, it's a very I don't know if this is gonna come out correctly, but, like, it's a very ballsy goal to be like, "I'm going to make a full-time income on TikTok." And that's not to say, like, don't go chase your dreams and, like, that can be a goal of yours, but I think it's just fluctuation is hard, and then I think
mhm.
people just, like, rage bait people into being like, "Oh my god, I'm gonna follow you so I can learn all about this," and
Yeah,
it never
I'm
happens for
seeing
them.
so many more videos now too from either creators or social media managers, and they're like, "It is you can make so much money on social media right now. This is what you need to do." And like, "This is how much money I've made on social media. Like, why haven't you started yet?" And I
Mhm,
get it in a sense of like, "Yes, do this." Like, the opportunities are out there and like make the content, like post it. But
mhm,
I think when money's the only motivator, it's like these people aren't gonna be creating because they're actually
mhm.
passionate about putting out content
Yeah,
and, like, creating. They're passionate which, obviously, yes, it's nice if money is coming in from that, but, like, the people that have made it, they have been doing it because they were actually passionate about creating content. Like, you take an Alex Earl and, like,
mhm,
all these people, they were actually passionate about creating content for years and years and years before you could even make money on TikTok.
mhm.
So now that money's a factor, I feel like you can see right through that. It's not
Yeah,
authentic because you know these people are just starting it because they see
mhm.
the money you could be making and
Right, and, like, that's
easy.
the thing, like, why would I ever like, oh, I see a video and it's like, "I'm desperately trying to get to 10K so I can quit my job and stay home full time." I'm like, I love that for you, and, like, I do think that that's obviously, like, a goal, but, like, what about that is like, "Oh my god, I love this person, I'm gonna follow them."
Yeah.
Like, you can't just like, that can't be your only motivation, and I think what it
Mhm.
is, it's, 1, obvious, but
Yeah.
also, like, I don't really respect those people as content creators, to be completely honest.
It's
Like,
not
I think
authentic.
people
Yeah. It's
no,
just
and right, and you're, like, exactly like you said, if you weren't doing it before when there was no money in it,
Mhm.
I don't think it's right for you for that to be, like, a motivation of it. Like I get it's a time thing. Like maybe if you're working, 2 full-time jobs to make your bills be paid, like obviously you don't have a ton of time to dedicate to
Yeah.
it for free, but like if it wasn't a passion of yours without being paid, it's not going to really become a passion just because you're getting paid for it, I don't
Yeah.
think.
Agreed.
Is how I feel about it. And
Mhm.
sorry if it's, like, harsh to say I don't, like, respect those people as content creators, but I don't. Like, we spend a lot of time creating stuff that we do, and our clients and other huge content creators that are really good at what they do and passionate about it, and, like,
Mhm.
these people come in and are just like, "Duh, I'm gonna take my little B-roll and, like, think I'm gonna
Yeah.
sell a bunch of stuff on the TikTok shop." Like, I respect people who work for what they have,
Yeah.
I guess.
Agreed.
Sorry if that's fucked up.
It's not though. Like, you're
Okay,
sharing your true intentions of
mhm.
just wanting, like, fame and money.
Mhm. Well, and it
Do you
gives
actually wanna help
MLM.
anyone? Do you actually want to, like,
Right.
provide anyone any value or entertainment, or is it
Mhm.
all just selfish reasons?
Mhm. I guarantee the people that buy into that also bought into an MLM at one
Yeah.
point. And again, sorry if that's mean, but like, well, it's the same thing. So I used to have somebody very close to me in my family, but like she sold the hair stuff and she would always post these things and be like, if I make 2 more sales, I get to go on a free cruise next month. And I'm like, why? Like, That's so weird. Like you're guilt tripping people into buying shit from you so that you can go on this cruise for free. Like
It's a GoFundMe.
yeah, it's so weird to me. I will never I have very hot takes on MLMs in that entire type of space that I feel like I shouldn't say today because
Yeah.
it's a different topic. But yeah, it that's what it gives to me is just I bought into this because I thought it would make me rich quick. And I don't understand
Mhm.
how in the year 2024 people haven't realized there's not really anything out there that's gonna get you rich quick overnight. Like,
Mhm.
or we'd all be doing it.
Exactly. And to even
Okay,
stay
sorry.
relevant long enough to
Mhm.
continue that growth, like,
Mhm.
it's a lot of work. Why do you think Harry Jowsey does the craziest shit all the time? Because he has to stay relevant.
Mhm.
Because
Yep.
you can be forgotten about so easily
Mhm.
or canceled. People are always looking for something to cancel you over.
Oh my
Once
god.
they see this big person,
Mhm.
like, start growing this much, like, they're just always looking for something to tear
Yep.
them back down. So, it's a lot.
Yeah. Wait, speaking of, this isn't really like a hot take on anything, but speaking of like, are you able to like stay relevant, like keep up with that?
Mhm.
Have you seen anything about, okay, so I don't like calling her the Haktua girl because I think
Oh my god.
her name is Haley, like
Yeah.
she has a name, but have you seen anything that she's been doing?
I saw she made hats, but, like, that's all because I'm honestly embarrassed that this is where that went. Like, it's embarrassing that someone like that gets blown up like that. It's just so dumb to me.
Okay.
My unpopular
Well,
opinion.
well, she took all of the money that she made from those hats and donated it to a dog shelter.
Okay, that's
She went
nice.
to PetSmart and bought thousands of dollars worth of stuff. Um, I like that to me is I mean, exactly like you said, like if she had stopped and been like, I'm gonna make this my literal whole personality, I think that would have been like, okay, like you're leading too much into it. But like seeing somebody take that and like turn it into something that like because she literally in the video is like, a month ago I wouldn't have been able to do this. And like I just want to give back. And I know that people are gonna expect me to like take this opportunity and like turn it into something different. Like, but it was really funny because she made do you know the Jax girl that sang the 90s song and the Victoria's Secret song, the
No.
blonde girl? Well, her and the girl like did this little thing together and it was like, what does Hawk Tuah mean? And Haley's like, oh yeah, like I have to explain myself to the elderly people. And Jax is like, oh, well, it means like I love you. It means like I care about you. And at the end, the Haley girl's like, Grandma, we're in a recession. Stop asking so many questions. And I'm like, I think that's so funny. Like, you're just like, shut up. Like, yeah, I went viral for saying I would spit on somebody's dick, but like, I think it's so funny that what she turned it into. But yeah, highly recommend going to watch her video about the dogs because it's really cute and it's really sad. Like
Okay.
it's so sad for the dogs.
I like that about her now.
Yeah, no, isn't that nice to hear? I'm like, I
Yeah.
love that she's like doing something that is very
Yeah.
respected, in my opinion, with
Yeah,
the money
for sure.
and hopefully paying off some debt, but
Mhm.
to each their own. Anyway, sorry, that wasn't really like a spicy take, but I had to ask you if you saw that because I thought it was really cute.
That is cute. Okay, so you had
Mhm.
2 calls this week too?
Yes. So this one also kind of came from like just experiences I've had this week. So I have done two discovery calls in the last week at the time that I wrote this. It's been like 2 weeks now. But both of them, we got off of the call or like we were ending the call and they were like, I feel like I just spoke to a person who like eased a lot of my concerns about like bringing somebody on like this. Like you really answered all of the questions and without telling me like anything more, they both basically just said, we've talked to other people before you this week and they were cold, they were timid, they got on and basically just asked what our budget was and wouldn't really answer questions about like how it works, like if we're working together, like what's your workflow. And
Mhm.
I think two things of this. One, I think that might just be people like not being prepared for calls like that, but also I've said this forever. I think people look at discovery calls the wrong way. Like, yes, it's obviously like interviews between the two of you, but like if you are open to like answering questions on your discovery call, to me, it's like going to a traditional job interview and sitting down and them being like, okay, what's your experience? And you being like, I don't know. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me that you wouldn't get on and be like, okay, so we're gonna like, schedule a shoot and we're gonna do this. Like, you don't have to give them a whole fucking strategy, but
Right.
like, answer the questions because you're making people feel like you don't know what you're doing. And maybe you don't. Like, maybe the people they talked to didn't. But yeah, just the words cold and timid and only asked about the budget were said by both of them. And they don't know each other. So I thought that was very strange, but also
Yeah.
like an epidemic in the social media management world.
Mhm. Well, yeah, I think a lot
Yes.
of people have talent, but it's really hard on the back end to do these things of that's literally why we created the blueprint because
Mhm.
so many people have the talent of being a social media manager and being able to do the work, but when it comes to like the back end stuff and like running discovery calls and sending proposals and doing the contracts and invoicing, like they have no idea how that goes and it does cost them clients because when they get on these calls and they're like, "Okay, well what can you afford?" and that's the only like important part. And I also agree where so many people will say like discovery calls are like you interviewing them and like they shouldn't be the one asking you questions. But I think
Mhm.
like when you are meant for that person and like you guys are meshing well, like you can keep it very normal, like a normal conversation, get to know each other.
Mhm.
Like you ask them questions, and then, have them ask you questions because it's not fair to only have it be one sided. Like I would
Mhm.
also want to know some things about the person I'm hiring. Like at the end
Mhm.
of the day, yes, it's technically you are hiring the client, but like you will be working with them. Like I think there's
Mhm.
a weird power struggle sometimes with social media managers and their clients where it's like I can't give them absolutely any control and it's
Mhm.
not about that. Like it's about seeing if you actually work well together. And I don't know, I wouldn't want to work with someone either that just like wouldn't answer my questions or they only care about how much money I can pay them. Like
Mhm.
that's shitty. So that's literally the exact reason we came out with the blueprint because it goes over everything you could possibly need on the back end of the business to make sure you are booking those clients and have those systems set up and be
Mhm.
successful in them because you can have all the talent in the world, but if you don't know how to
Mhm.
run the business on the back end and run discovery calls and like, be face to face with clients, is you're not going to get anywhere. So
No.
that's
Yeah, and I
unfortunate.
think that's one thing too, like, if you just are maybe new to it and don't know exactly, like, what questions to be asking, but exactly like you said, like, I think people forget that, like, you can talk to these people, like, you're just, like, out for a cup of coffee too, like,
Mhm,
I mean, the one that I had, like, we literally for more than half of the discovery call talked about, like, nothing to do with social media, and
mhm,
that was the first person that said this to me that week, like, we got off of the call and she was like, "I just want you to know, like, I just felt like I talked to a friend for like, we were on this discovery call for an hour. I don't ever stay on that long, and, like,
mhm.
she was like, "I just felt like we were having, like, a friend to friend conversation, like, even if we end up not working together, like, I'd still love to meet you," and, like, I just don't think it needs to be, I don't wanna say not professional 100% of the time, but, like, if like, you kinda just have to be able to mesh with the person too, like, in general. Like, I want to
Yeah.
feel like with everybody that I work with, like, I would be friends with them outside of working together because I
Mhm.
want to know that we get along in both aspects. And I just hated to hear that because I'm like, again, there's 2 reasons. It's either somebody's unprepared or somebody thinks they're better than this discovery call and thinks that like, "Oh, you're wasting my time if we talk about anything else. Like, tell
Mhm.
me what your budget is and I'll get back to you with a proposal." Like, I just
Yeah.
don't agree with that. And like, I think it really does make such a big difference when you can like show a little bit more about who you are and connect to them like as
Mhm.
people, not just like a
Yeah.
client service provider relationship.
Yeah, 100%.
So,
It's not to
maybe
say
not
you're
a
not a
full
professional, but, like, you
right.
need to mesh well with the person you're gonna be working with.
Mhm. Yeah, so maybe not like the spiciest take on anything, but I just wanted to put that on there because it was something I heard twice last week, and I was like, "Oh my god," like, I also feel bad for, like, these people getting on these calls because like, they could be giving them such a bad, like, taste in their mouth or, like,
Mhm.
such a bad experience that they're like, "Fuck it, I'm not hiring anybody," and then they just stop looking for somebody to outsource to. So
Yeah.
just you never know asking, like, even just being like, "How's your day going?" Like, do you have any kids? Do you have any
"Oh, I saw
pets?
you
Like, how long have
posted
you.
this, like, I love
Yeah.
that place, I love getting juice there."
Mhm.
Like, making that
Yep.
immediate connection about something is key in the first,
Yeah.
like, getting on the call and be like, "Oh my god, I saw you went here." Like, do your research on this person. Like, so much of the
Mhm.
time, I think people are underprepared because they don't actually look at, like, what this business is, how it started, what they
Oh,
do.
I
Like,
stalk.
I
I'm
literally
down in
need
your,
to know
like,
everything
20.
about you.
Yeah, I'm in your Instagram post from 2015.
Same.
Like,
I'm like, "Oh, okay, you're a Capricorn. Got it. I know your kids'
I'm on your
names. I know
website.
everything."
Yep, I know you, you're a fan. I found your house on Zillow. I'm just kidding.
I did
But
a
no,
background search on you. We're good.
yeah, how was your trip to, Italy last year with your family? Like, it's yeah, and again, not to sound, like, creepy, but, like, I do, like, I go through their Instagram and I'm looking, like, even,
Mhm.
the type of content that they were making, like, if that was something that they just wanted me to take over, is it a type of content that I agree with? Like, do I agree with the business mission? Like, I just don't agree. Like, I'm so over prepared. I feel like sometimes that I have to, like, stop myself from saying something, from
Yeah.
sounding like a weirdo that was 8
Mhm.
years deep in somebody's
Literally,
Instagram,
they're,
but,
like,
like,
telling you about something, you're like, "I know.
I know.
I know you did that."
Do you mean the house you bought in 2016 or the one you bought in 2018? Like, I'm up on your house record. I'm just kidding. I'm really not.
No,
But
it's not
I'm
that deep.
stalking the website for sure.
Yeah, 1,000%.
So,
So that's that on that. Don't be timid, don't be cold. Buy the
mhm.
blueprint if you don't know how to run shit in the back end of your business, okay?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Next up, I
Moving
feel like
on.
we've touched on this in the last one that we did, like shadow banning and algorithm changes, and I feel like all that needs to be said is, like, embrace whatever changes come and, like, just pivot because it's always going to be about changing and pivoting. And if all of a sudden reels aren't what's working for you, try the static posts. If the static posts aren't working for you, try going live, try getting on your stories more. Like, try shit all the time. And, like,
Mhm.
the shadow banning bullshit, they're not going to shadow ban you unless you're doing bot activities like following people, 100 people a day, and, like, the spam comments. So that's all I have to say about those two. But
Well, because it bothers me because people think shadow banning is like, "Oh, Instagram just
yeah.
decided not to show my content anymore," and it's like,
Hmm.
"Oh, is it because you're posting half naked content showing your bikini haul?" Like,
Yeah.
that's technically nudity to Instagram. Like, I get to you and to us,
Hmm.
it's a bathing suit, and should that be considered sexual? No, but, like, people aren't acknowledging that, like, they are doing things to break Instagram's terms of service. So yeah, your content might not get pushed out as much as
Hmm.
you want it to. And they also forget, like, or sometimes people can forget, like, when you post something on Instagram, it goes to X amount of people. Depending on what those X amount of people do, depends on how many more people it gets shown to. So, like,
Hmm.
just because you're posting something doesn't mean people have to engage with it. It needs to be something
Right.
that they want to engage with. So I think it's also important to just take a step back and acknowledge
Hmm.
maybe you are
Yeah.
doing something that Instagram doesn't like. Like, it's
Mhm.
not always
Right.
that Instagram just decided one day.
Don't blame Instagram, blame the people that you're trying to target, which clearly are not the right people, or you're not
Mhm,
making the right content that's being put out to them, because if they
mhm.
see, "Oh, these people are interacting, let's push it out to more people, let's push it out to more
Yeah,
people." That's how it works, and I would just look in your at your content, not it's very easy to blame outside sources when we're
mhm.
struggling with something or not seeing the results that we want, but sometimes you have to look inward and look at your strategy and look at your content and look inward.
I was like, I feel like I need to,
Work
like,
on
take a deep
yourself.
breath and, like, shut my eyes,
Work
have,
on
like, a meditative
yourself
moment.
better.
But I also love that you said, like, you can't resist the changes because, I
Yeah.
mean, look at when freaking TikTok started taking over and Instagram introduced Reels, like, everybody was like,
Mhm.
I hate this. I'm not, well, I shouldn't say everybody, but, like, the people who adapted to it and who leaned into it had a lot more success on the platform.
Mhm.
And, like,
Even
it is a
Threads,
little,
remember? They're like, "Oh my god, just another thing, like, just another
yeah.
platform, just another thing to do." It's like, if that's gonna be your mindset, no one's forcing you to do it, but just know that the
Mhm.
people that are embracing it and are going to be like implementing these strategies and these new platforms, they're going to be the ones that are successful, and then
Yep.
you can't blame anything else because you didn't
Nope.
try.
Nope. It's just like like everything around us advances. And like if you choose not to
Mhm.
keep up with it, like it's, it's like like for example, look at like CDs and like floppy disks. Like we used to only have stuff on CDs, and eventually like they don't even make computers, well they do, but like even like all modern Macs like don't come with like CD things. Like imagine if you just, I don't know, you're a DJ and you make music and you're like, well, I only save my music on CDs. Like if you
Mhm.
don't have a CD player, I can't play it for like,
They'd be
you're
like,
insane.
"Too
Like you're
fucking bad,
outdated.
buddy. We got 10
Yeah.
others you can book."
We have 12 people lined up with an MP3 fucking
For
file on
real.
their Mac. Like like you are getting
Literally.
pushed to the side. And
Yeah.
it's a little bit of like if you can't beat it, join it almost, but like
Yes.
yes, queen.
Yes.
I never get them. They're always on your side. But yeah, I mean it sucks. Like do I like, waking up every day and being like, "Oh my god, like is something going to change today? Are we getting a new platform? Is there a new
Mhm.
feature?" Like even like the notes that you can now leave on
Yeah.
Instagram posts, like I actually love that. I think
Yeah, it's
that's
cute.
so fun.
I think it's fun too.
And I hate that people are like always against the changes, because
No,
also this is Instagram's platform. Like we are just here borrowing some space while we're using it.
we're
We
just their
can't
Sims, and they just drop
literally.
things on us when they want, and we can either embrace it or not. Like, it's your choice.
And mhm. But if you don't, you might get left behind. And
Yeah.
that just is what it is, especially if you want to, you know, be quote successful on social media.
Yes. Exactly.
So, but I also think it's important to note with these, I think a lot of people are a little dramatic with some of the posts that they make, being like, the entire Instagram algorithm changed and here's what you need to know. Like, it
Yeah.
never changes like that. Like,
No.
it's not like that.
I had a call with Instagram, and they told me that you're supposed to do this now. I'm like, "Oh my god.
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't have the call."
And I love when people like follow all of the stuff that people say like that and nothing comes of it. I'm like,
Mhm.
I told you. Like, oh,
Mhm.
keywords on your reels, like might help a little bit, but it's not the difference between going viral and
If your
not going
content
viral.
sucks, nothing's gonna save it. Sorry.
Right.
No hashtag,
No hashtag,
nothing.
no caption.
We can't say it
Weird.
enough. We need that on a fucking merch next. Like, honestly.
Hashtags won't save shitty posts.
Yes. Keywords and hashtags and engagement won't save your shitty content.
Literally. Even like the engagement pod thing, like if you just are in this group of the same 10 people commenting on your post, like it doesn't, all it does is show the number. Like I don't,
Mhm.
it doesn't contribute anything. It doesn't like give a perspective if it's just these people like commenting emojis. Like
Yeah.
it's just not worth it.
Just makes you feel good, I guess. Do
Yeah,
you?
need the 10,000 number on the profile to feel valid in life, I
Mhm.
guess.
Okay, this one we're seeing a lot lately. And it's people that are showing that they're using like AI and Chat GPT in their clients' content. And I just think it's wild that, like, we've talked about this before too. Like,
Mhm.
why is a client going to pay you when you are showing that they could just do it themselves so easily? Like, what skill do you really have if all you can do is input, make me a caption with a chill brand tone voice about hair and makeup? And then
Mhm.
you're just copying and pasting a caption and throwing some hashtags on there. Like, truly, what skill is that? Being able to type and copy and paste? Like,
Mhm.
and it's crazy because we're seeing so much content now of social media managers, of coaches that are like, here's 5 chat GPT prompts to like, and don't get us wrong, we use chat GPT for like, organize this for me, or like
Yes.
categorize,
Explain this to me.
explain this,
Yes.
categorize
Mhm.
this. Shout out Gabby. She got a cookie
Yeah.
recipe out of chat GPT the other day. So like it is helpful. We use it for things, but I would
Yeah.
never be like, make me 5 captions like for
No.
my client. And I don't know, this is controversial because a lot of people are using it now and they're like, it's actually really good. And I'm like, no, it's not. We can tell. I can tell a ChatGPT caption. I'll tell you that. I can
You
tell.
can tell, and I also think so I'm not gonna say, well, I don't, it's not that I don't think it's okay to use any of that, like to do content that way, but what I do think is if you are openly talking about how you are putting no thought, no effort, no like anything more intricate than copying and pasting chat GPT, the only thing you are saving your client is time. And I think you can only charge $200 to $300 a month for that service,
Mhm.
if I'm being totally honest. Like,
Yeah.
if it takes
Yes. Period.
slay, like it's if it's taking you, it's not always about how much time it takes you. I don't think, because like sometimes a reel takes me 10 minutes to edit and
Yeah.
sometimes it takes 30, just depending on how like much is going into it. So it's not
Mhm.
about like the time that it takes you, but it's about the fact that you are literally copying and pasting. I mean, somebody that I used to watch in their content do this, they would literally go to Google and find an article and copy the entire thing into Chat GPT and then have it write captions. And I'm like, it just doesn't work like that. And again, I would never say that just saving your client time is the only thing that you contribute when you're their social media manager, because obviously you should be bringing like a creative aspect and like
Mhm.
a different, view into their business and their content. But if the literal only thing that you are doing is copying ChatGPT, you are not a social media manager. You're a virtual assistant checking items off of a to-do list.
Yeah.
Sorry. And I don't think you can charge as much for that as you do for regular social media management who's actually like putting effort into content.
Yeah. 100%. And the people that are like, well, it works and like nobody can tell and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, what results are you getting from
Mhm.
doing that? Because I would love to see any results from people that do that for their clients. I would be intrigued to see that because then maybe my perspective would change. But I have not seen that so far because I don't see any results coming from using AI.
No. No.
So,
Because I also like, I mean, obviously there's no way for me to know every single caption I've ever read that was written by AI, but like
mhm.
I can tell you right now, I have never read a blatantly chat GPT created caption and been like, I want to work with this person. Like
Yeah.
I love this business. I've never, it's the people who are adding their like own thoughts and opinions
Mhm.
and creative twists on things. Like again, that's not to say that I haven't ever read a caption that was written by AI and maybe it was just really good and we didn't know, but
Mhm. But even
I
that
have
will
never.
require, like, a lot of scripting, a lot of,
Yeah.
like, details, and a lot of text to go into
Mhm.
what you want it to spit out, that it's almost
Right.
like you coulda just spent that time just making it yourself,
Right. Making the edits yourself.
because now you're
Mhm.
taking double the time to I don't know, but
Yeah. No, and I think like you said, there's ways to use it. Like explain this to me. Like if I'm writing something for my client and I don't like fully know how to word something, like I'll maybe put it in there and be like, does this make sense? Like should I word it a different way? But I'm not
or, like,
ever just
emails,
putting it in
I do
there.
that. I'll be like
Yeah.
I write up the email draft, and then I'm like, "Make this organized, sound a little better, throw in some
Mhm.
extra words in there," and I'll do that, but
Make
it's
me
still
sound
coming
smarter than
from
I am.
like, it's still my brain developing
Mhm.
these things, and then I just need help organizing it.
Mhm. And that's like I always feel so bad saying, because I know there are a lot of people who like, not even saying that this is us, but like who aren't like naturally, creative and know how to kind of take something and turn it into your own. But that's a hard topic too, because it's like I don't think those people don't deserve to like be content creators or to like post about their business on social media, but I think it's easy to blend in at this point, and if you just see ChatGPT as like your way out of creating like content that actually does something, you're going to blend in. Like you're just going to be copy and paste, and that is what it is.
Mhm.
And we can tell. And
Yeah,
I don't like it.
me either.
um this kind of goes back to the first one that we talked about, but it's about followers, not like money. So just another like kind of clickbaity title that we're seeing in people's content is about how many followers they gained in a short amount of time. And it's hard because if you make the content that these people are desperate for, They will follow you and they will engage with your content because you are telling them that you can solve the biggest problem that they have.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean that they are going to be able to do that for your business, because it's not always as simple. Like, if somebody sees, oh, I gained 10,000 followers in a week, obviously there are a lot of business owners that would want that. So then
Mm-hmm.
they follow that person. But if they were to see somebody that's like, here's how we're going to take your messaging of your business and turn it into something completely unique and really sell it directly to your target audience, people are not naturally going to gravitate towards that option because they see the 10,000 followers in a week and they want that result, not the one that requires
Yeah, the
like
instant
work.
results, the
Mhm.
quick wins.
Yeah.
And it's
So I
the
think people,
accounts that do have a lot of followers because that's all they make content about is gaining followers, and that's why they're gaining followers because they're making it's like a constant cycle of like
yes.
they're not actually making any valuable content. They're just making content that they're gaining followers. So you think
Mhm.
that, and it's like B-roll content, and it's all of these
Mhm.
like um what's the stock, like it's all stock videos.
Oh, yeah.
So it's all stock, it's not even of them, it's all faceless,
Mhm.
and it's just stock images, B-roll,
Right.
that is like, "I gained 15K followers, and you can too by just doing these 2 things, providing value and engaging." And I'm like,
My God.
and people believe it, and they follow it,
Yeah.
and that's how these accounts keep growing and putting out this messaging that it's just, like,
Mhm.
so easy.
Mhm.
Just
I mean, even again, it gives MLM. Like, in
Mhm.
an MLM,
Yes.
the person buys into it, and 90% of the time, they make money by adding people to their downline, which means they get people to purchase into this MLM underneath them. But they don't ever actually sell anything. They're not like selling the product. Like, they are making money because you bought into the program. And that's how I feel about a lot of these too, because a lot of them are like, oh, comment scale and I'll send you my free guide. And then you get the guide and it's like, create entertainment, educational, inspirational, relatable content. And it's like the most basic surface level shit that's not. And it's almost in a way, I feel like a way to get those people to go back to them and be like, "Oh my god, I don't understand this. I could never do it by myself. I need to hire you."
Yes.
I just have never been into that. Like,
No.
I feel like even with some of the content that we make, like, because of how honest and blatant we are about a lot of it. Like, I said this a long time ago on TikTok actually. Like, I feel like I would have so like such a different TikTok presence and, community on there if I was willing to word things a little bit different, but I'm not. Like,
Yeah.
I will only word things in a way that I know like these are results that I can provide. I'm not on there saying we're going to go viral and gain 100,000 followers, but those social media managers that are the ones who get a little bit more traction, and that's fine. Like, I'm not, saying I want that or anything. It's just
No.
we could do things so differently and we don't, and
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
like really
Say
proud of us for that.
we can say literally whatever we want. Like the
Mhm.
person that you said is like, "Oh, voted the number 1 Charleston agency," and you're like, "By who?
Says who?
Who? Who voted
Because
that?"
I'm about to put that in my bio.
Yeah.
Like,
Nothing
who
stops
said
anyone from saying
no.
whatever they want, and at the end of the day, if you believe it, it's kind of on you because you're believing
Mhm.
what
Yeah.
someone's putting out there
Yes.
without fact checking whatever. So
Yeah.
it's truly up to you to interpret something and whether you believe it or not. Just be so
Mhm.
careful about like who you're trusting, what you're listening to, what you're implementing without any sort of like results of that. Like they're just
Mhm.
telling you something, and like we always say before you enter this industry, like it's not easy. You're not going to be making 20K a month, 10K a month like they always say, but this post
Mhm.
we literally just saw today, it's like here's like the truth about becoming a social media manager, and it's like you don't need money, you don't need a degree, and you don't need what else was it? It was like money, a degree, and something else. You don't need to
Yeah,
become a
I don't
social media
remember.
manager, and it was like, "This is how you're gonna do it. You're gonna charge $1,000 a month. You're gonna
Mhm.
educate on Monday. You're gonna inspire on Tuesday. You're gonna post a case study on Wednesday, and you're gonna educate on Thursday, and you're gonna post Monday through Friday." And it's like, that's all that it takes to become a social media manager, I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, whoa, these people will have a rude awakening if they are believing what this person is putting out.
Right.
They're posting how much money they're making, and that's all they did to get there. It's just,
Mhm.
and then when they don't get there, that's when they go back to this person. I'm doing all this stuff you said. Oh, well, I have a course. Here you go.
Yes. Or you could hire me, like, you could pay
Oh,
$5,000 and hire
consulting.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of, like, a huge red flag almost is, like, if you do see somebody like this and their immediate, like, follow-up to seeing that content is to either, like, to be DM'd something, like, if it says comment this word, like, chances are you are adding yourself to this person's funnel, like, you
Mhm.
are gonna get followed up with in a week, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, how did it go?" And you're gonna be like, "Oh my god, I had the hardest time," and they're gonna be like, "Oh my god, perfect opportunity to sell my coaching," like, it just and it's hard too because I feel like when we've been in it for so long and we see it, like, I don't ever, knock on wood, see myself falling for a scam,
No.
like, ever, 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 because I just question shit too much, and
Mhm.
I just would hate to think, there's a business owner out there who gets the message from that coach and is like, I have a $10,000 mentorship program you could get in. And they are like, okay, here's my credit card. Like, please fix all my problems. And then they have, you know, a bad experience. And that makes me really sad. So just especially before you invest money, like if it's a
Mhm.
freebie, if it's just like a DM conversation with somebody, that's obviously one thing. But like,
Yeah.
just be careful before you invest money in something,
Mhm.
as always in life.
Yeah.
But that I'm skipping this next one just to go to the next one because it kind of fits in with this. I don't even like when social media managers are like, here's what you're going to post on Monday. Here's what you're going to post on Tuesday. Like, because it's
Mhm.
the basic shit like educate, inspiration,
Mhm.
relatable, entertainment. You're going to post a trend on Thursday. You're going to post a FAQ on Friday. Like, I just have never followed patterns like that
No.
because I think it's like chaotic, honestly. Like I feel like a lot of people would hear that and be like, "Well, wow, like you know what you're posting every single day." And it's like I feel like especially lately I've just gotten into such a place where it's like not that I'm not planning anything out, but it's so much easier and like more fun to make content if you're not like, "Oh my god, it's Tuesday. I have to post a testimonial." Like I literally can't post anything else. It has to be a testimonial. Like that's so stressful to
We
me.
both hate batching content. Like, that's an
Yeah.
unpopular opinion.
Over it.
Used to think we do that. So over it. Like,
Yeah.
I wanna, whatever I'm feeling that day or, like, in the moment I'm
Mhm.
thinking about, I record it and I will
Yeah.
post it, because if I sit on it, like, I will hate the video, I will not feel that
Yes.
way, or, like, not that I won't feel that way again, like,
I wanna
it's
do it
just,
different.
yeah, I would say something else or, like, add to it, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I don't wanna be second guessing all this stuff all the
Yeah.
time, so, honestly, if that's what works for you, fucking do it. Screw all this,
Yeah.
like, "Oh, but no, you have to have a posting schedule," and, like, just
Yeah.
be consistent with it and do it.
Yep.
Like, post when you genuinely feel like posting, because that's when it's gonna pay off the most and when you're gonna
Yeah, I
see the
think it's so
results.
much more authentic than
Yes,
being
when you're
like
forcing yourself, it's like there's
yeah.
been so many times I've sat in my car and I've forced myself to, like, make content,
Yeah.
and then I don't post it 'cause I'm like, I just forced myself and I
Yeah,
don't
I
like
don't even
that.
like that.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, and that's I feel like it's important for us to say, like, we obviously are still, like, batching content, like, client-wise, like,
Oh, for
obviously, I'm
clients,
not
yes.
going to my client every day and being like,
No.
"Hey, we need to film 1 reel today," like
Oh,
but even then, like, I still like getting myself ahead, but, like, even for a lot of my clients, like, with trends and stuff, like, I try to use what's, like, popular that week, not, like, batching it out a month ahead of time, so, like, even some of their content, like, I'll make without an audio, and then, like, that week that comes, I'll use whatever's trending, like, there's ways to batch, but to still be, like,
yeah.
current in posting it, if that makes sense, but
Mhm.
we are speaking more for, like, I'm speaking directly on my TikTok account with this, like,
Yeah,
my personal
me too. Our
TikTok
personal,
account.
yeah, not our clients.
Yes. So, like, even if you are just wanting to make more content yourself, like, I feel like I was frozen for a long time with how much I was, like, planning out and, like,
Mhm.
it needs to be about this, and I have to have a good mix of, like, social media and, like, personal life and blah, 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 and now I'm like, "Fuck it." Like,
Whatever.
I literally don't care. Like,
Mhm.
there's strategy in there somewhere, but I think it comes across as so much more authentic.
Yeah, it does.
So If you haven't aligned lately with batching content or following like a strict posting schedule, just know that we haven't either. And
Yeah.
that's okay.
And speaking of being authentic, this is our last one, is the people you meet on social media who only want to be your friend to pick your brain. And I feel like we've all had experiences with this, like
Mhm.
somebody that is like dying to hang out with you or like talking to you all the time, but then every time they talk to you, it's just to like ask you a question or like pick your brain about something. And when you get together, you're just like, feel like you're only talking about business things and like
Mhm.
feel like that person's only asking you things about your business or like how you do things to like get things out of you. So I
Yep.
feel like everyone has experience with this and it's really tough on social media to like figure out who's genuinely trying to be your friend and who is just trying to get some information out of you.
Mhm. Yeah. I mean, I've had a lot of people even like close to me. Like that's when it makes me the most like upset and most angry is when people like especially when I first kind of started posting about all of this. I remember I had one friend and we were like relatively close. Like I was actually very upset that she did this, but like I remember her texting me one day and being like, "Hey, so like how do I get started with all of this?" And I was like, "What do you mean like all of this?" And she was like, like I really just want to get into like making content for businesses." And I'm like, there's a part of me that obviously I'm like, "Holy shit, that's so exciting. I'm so excited for you." But when you come to me
Mhm.
and you're like, how do I do this? Like how do I get started with this?" And I'm like, you could maybe be like, "Hey, I've seen what you've done. I'm interested in
Mhm.
learning a little bit more." Like, don't make it sound like this is some tiny little thing I do on the
Yeah.
side just for fun. Like, that's when it bothered me was like, and what bothered me was she was a nurse, full-time nurse. So I'm like, okay, so you are immediately looking at something that I do as like something you could do on the side. Like, it's not as serious. It's a little side hustle. And that's okay if it is. But it just bothered me because I would never go to her and be like, so how do I like get into this? Like, how
Yeah.
do I start something like this? Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, you worked really hard for that nursing
Yeah.
degree. I worked really fucking hard to build my business. And at this point, I had the survival guide. Like, I know obviously we have the blueprint now, but like, I had that at the time. And like, it
Mhm.
bothers me that you're still like, how do I get into this?
Yeah.
This little thing that you're doing. I'm like, it's
Yeah.
not a little thing, first of all.
Mhm.
Second of all, you can book a discovery call with me and we'll talk.
Literally. Yeah, I think a lot of the time people close to you think that just because you're doing something, you can like offer up and like you can give
For
advice to
sure.
your friends and like if somebody has a question about something, like I will answer it. But when it's as in depth of like teach me the whole thing
The
you're
whole
doing or
thing.
like every single system you use, and it's like
Mhm.
that's kind of pushing the limit. Like the other day, I was like, "What do you use for 401k?" Like,
Oh, yeah, I'm like, "You're
I was like,
asking the wrong person."
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, it's little things like that, or I'm like, "Lex, what the fuck is going on with this, like, page? I don't understand why it's not connecting to Facebook." Like,
right,
it's little stuff like that that you can ask your friend, but I would never be like, "Make this entire strategy for my client," or like, "How did
right.
you do this entire thing?" And it sucks when people take advantage or, like, expect things for free from you just
Mhm,
because you have a skill.
mhm.
So
And that's the thing,
it's
like,
happened
I'm
a lot.
always open to talking about it, I'm open to answering questions, I will always be excited for somebody that wants to start something, but, like, don't insinuate that this is, like, just a
Mhm.
tiny little thing that would be
So
no
easy.
big deal for me to, yeah, explain to you start to finish, like,
Mhm.
that's, like, insulting to my business, first of
Yeah.
all. Second of all, I will still support you in this journey, but, like, you need to know that there's a lot of work ahead of it. Like it's
Mhm.
I don't ever want it to sound like I would be like, I'm not helping this person because they didn't pay me because I'm not like that. I actually like overgive information. But
Mhm.
like I just would never it's a difference of like feeling respected or feeling like you're being used just because you know something about something.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
I've even felt bad. I have a friend who's a vet, and, like, I've texted her pictures, like, of something this was a long time ago, like, I literally only did it once, but I was, like, freaking out. I'm like, "Do I need to go to, like, a doctor?" But, like, he had a little, like, bump on his foot. But, like, even then, like, I feel bad sending that picture and being like, "Hey, just quick glance. Is this something to be concerned about?" Like, I even feel bad about doing that, let alone asking somebody to explain to me their business from
Yeah.
start to finish.
Right.
That's just a lot.
Yeah. and in that manner too. Like,
Yes.
wasn't
Yeah.
even
Don't
asked in like a, oh my god, you built this whole thing. Like, I would love to,
know more about it.
yeah,
Like,
or
how did
like
you
book
get
something with
started?
you to
Yeah.
help me get started in it. It's just like all about the wording. And
Mhm.
yeah, some people just expect things, and those are not the people that you want around.
No. Nope.
Periodic.
Definitely not. Yeah.
I think we covered everything we wanted to. Feeling great.
I'm feeling a lot lighter getting all of that off of my chest, honestly.
Yeah, that was good.
I like love these episodes because like I feel like we get so much out of it. I'm like, I feel like I hope it doesn't just come off as us complaining for an hour straight, but like I swear there's a lot of things that also make me really happy.
Yeah.
I don't just get mad all the time.
No, these are just things we want people to look out for and
Mhm. Be aware of.
yeah, just be aware. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know in the comments if you're on Spotify, and we will be back next week, hopefully, with our Dallas cheerleaders episode.
Yes. And if that's not next week, then we'll be talking about something else. But
Yeah,
that episode
it
will be
will be
coming.
here.
It's coming. It's not that we don't want to. We have a little surprise for the episode that
Yeah.
we have to confirm and
Mhm.
don't want to put that episode out until we know
Yeah.
if it's confirmed. So keep an eye out for that in the near future. But yeah,
Mhm.
we'll link all of our new merch, everything down below. Come hang out with us on Instagram and let us know if you agree or disagree with any of our opinions. And we love you. And
Love
we'll
you.
see you
Bye.
next week. Bye.
Thanks for hanging. If you aren't sick of us yet, jump over to the Socially Unfiltered Pod Instagram,
Check out the social media manager blueprint,
and everything else you'll need can be found in the show notes.
and we'll see you next Monday.